Hello, beautiful people. How are you today? How are you doing? My name is Taiwo, and you're welcome back to my YouTube channel, Easy Sewing with Tai. Today on the channel, we'll be working with velvet fabric. We'll be making a structured outfit with it, which is a bustier. We'll be learning different types of velvet, different methods and techniques to stabilize the velvet fabric to make it easy to sew, and among others. So, if this is something you are interested in, then you need to keep watching. Okay, now, if today is your first time of coming across this channel, you're welcome. It's so good to have you here. I'm excited to have you here, and I can assure you that you will love it here. To all new and existing subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate your support via diverse means. Now, please ensure that you subscribe if you are yet to like, share, leave a comment for me. Let me know what you think, okay? And put on the post notifications to get notified immediately I upload new videos. Now, let's get started. Here is the velvet fabric that I'll be working with today. So the quality of your velvet fabric goes a long way in determining how easy it will be to work with, especially when using it to make structured projects like your corset, your bustier, and the rest. So far I know of two types of quality of velvet. The tapered edge, like this type that you can see me holding, you can see the edges, it has line, and the rolled edge, which I will show you later. But this tapered edge also, they are of different qualities, but it is of a better quality than the rolled edge type that I will show you later. You can see this magenta velvet that I'm holding to is also of a tapered edge. You can see the lines, they are of good quality. I've made a dress with it. But looking at this black velvet, now this is the best velvet I've worked with. It's of a superior quality, it's very nice. It's also tapered edge, even though the lines is not as wide as the gold and the magenta you can see on the table. But definitely, when you are going for your velvet, make sure that you go for this tapered edge and not the whole edge that I will be showing you later. These are of better quality, but again, they differ. Like all these three tapered edge velvet you can see on the table, they have different qualities. The black being the best, followed by the gold and the magenta. Now, here is the rolled edge type of velvet. You can see how it is rolling. So here is how you are going to differentiate. You can see how it is rolling. This velvet is of a lesser quality, but it is not impossible to work with, because I actually made a bustier and added body channel with this fabric. You should have seen it during the introduction. So it's not like it is impossible to work with, but especially for beginners, or when you are just starting out, it's just better to go for the higher quality of velvet. It just makes everything easy. Here's the satin fabric. I actually use this to line my velvet. I also use it to stabilize it. You'll get to see how I use it to stabilize it as we progress in the class today, because it is impossible to just go ahead and line your velvet fabric without stabilizing it first. It just will not work, because the velvet will stretch and the satin fabric is not stretching. So you have to find a way to limit or to stop the velvet fabric from stretching by stabilizing it. Now you can use different materials to stabilize it. One of the materials is actually your satin fabric. So you can use your satin to stabilize your velvet. You will see it as we progress in the class. Another one is this soft stay. So I call it soft stay. Some people call it tissue gum. I guess I don't know what it will be called in your area, but it's actually soft. It is very soft. I use this a lot. But when I want to use this, I actually double it. You still get to see how I use this as the class progress. Now, here is the second type of interface. I choose to call this medium stay, because it is harder than the soft stay, but it is softer than the regular hard stay that I'm still going to show you. So I like this a lot. I just like the stability it gives the velvet fabric. So I call it medium stay. I actually don't know the name it is called. You can see that is the hard stay. So that medium stay, it is softer than this hard stay. It is softer than this hard stay, but it is harder than the soft stay that I showed you earlier. So when I'm making use of the medium stay, I just use it once, unlike the soft stay that I used twice. I double it. So this hard stay that you can see me hold, I've never used it before, though I hear some people have used it and it works for them, but I've never used an hard stay before. before. That's the hardest one, the one I was holding earlier that was long. But the two type of stay that I use is this soft stay and this medium stay, and they work perfectly. Here's the next one, which is called an stay. So we have the black and the white. I believe this should work as well, but I've not used an stay to actually stabilize my velvet fabric before, but I believe it should work. Now I've gone ahead to cut out the bustier pattern on fabric. So I did not show this because this class is not to teach how to draft your bustier. I have other videos that talks detailed that I have other detailed video on that. The link to that will be in the description box. So I've gone ahead to stabilize two of these three parts for this bustier. I use the soft stay. Like I said, I told you I usually double it. So I'm going to show you how I achieve this using this last part. Using the last part, that is my soft stay that I'm holding. You can see that I have double of it. So I'm going to show you how I stabilize, how I achieve this that you can see on the table. You can see how it is looking firm. It is no longer stretching. You can see now you can always line this, you can sew this, it's not going to stretch, and you are just going to, it's just going to be easy to sew this. So before I show you how I attach the soft stay to achieve that stable velvet, because it's a technique to ironing it too, let me quickly show you a method that I discovered, which is laminating it. So it's the one that I mentioned earlier, that you can actually stabilize your velvet using your satin fabric, not all this interface like the air stay, soft stay, and the rest. So what you want to do is to get your M gum. You can get a wider M gum, but if it's this type that you have, it will work perfectly too. Just make sure that you cut it to the size of the velvet, and you just iron your satin onto the back like this. Now you want to make sure that you iron it from the satin and not from the surface of the velvet, because if you iron it from the surface of the velvet, it's going to stretch and it's going to scar. That fall like feeling that you can feel when you are touching the surface of your velvet, you would not feel it anymore. You can actually test it with a small piece of velvet fabric. So do not iron from the right side of the velvet. So you just want to iron from the satin, so doing that is going to stabilize nicely, it's going to stabilize nicely. Now, making sure that the wrong side of the velvet is facing you want to go ahead and place one piece of the soft stay on the velvet this way. So there are two sides. There's one side that has a gum and there's one side that does not have a gum. So the side that has a gum is what you want to place directly on that wrong side of the velvet, okay? So it can attach nicely to the velvet. Then you want to place the other layer following the same process. Make sure the side that has a gum is facing downwards. Now that you've done this, you want to go ahead and wet it or make use of your steam iron. Now you just want to go ahead and start patting it. You do not want to drag the iron over this. You don't want to iron it aggressively. You just want to pat it. You can see the way I'm actually going about it, because if you iron it aggressively, it is going to stretch. The velvet will stretch before it gets stabilized. So you just want to make sure that you pat it first. You pat it first. Once that you are sure that the stay has adhered onto the velvet, then you can now iron through. Now that I'm done with the ironing, I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the excess and show you what I have. So here's the final result. All the bustier pattern has been stabilized nicely. Now I can proceed to the sewing, and I've also cut out the satin fabric, the wording. So I'm going to be using wording for this project, not backup. So like I always say, if you want to use your backup, make sure that you attach your backup onto your satin fabric, onto your lining, okay? The link to my detailed video on that will be in the description box. The link to all my bustier video will be in the description box. The joining is the same. The joining is the same, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and join it off camera now and show you the result. And here's the final result. Drum roll, please. So you can see how beautiful it looks. It's not rumpled. One part is not longer than the other. It is just perfect. So it is possible to achieve this with your velvet fabric and not just your ankara or your lace or your satin. You just have to make sure that you stabilize your velvet properly and you sew with patience. Okay, do not stretch as you sew, do not drag it. First, make sure you stabilize it. If you stabilize it well, then you are halfway through, and make sure you just sew it with patience. Like I always say, when you are sewing your bustier, okay, do not stretch it, and you would achieve this as well. And that will be all for today. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you gain value. If all of this is yes, then kindly give it a thumbs up. Don't leave without liking. Share it, okay? Leave a comment for me. Let me know what you think. You can also connect with me on other social media platforms. Is at EasySewing with Ike on Instagram and on Facebook. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you are yet to do so. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye.